Welcome to Harness Up with Haste Draft Horses and Mules, where we talk all things related to these magnificent animals. From their history and uses to training and care, we cover it all. Join us as we chat with experts and enthusiasts in the field, share stories and tips, and explore the world of draft horses and mules. Whether you're a seasoned owner or just curious about these gentle giants, this podcast is for you. So harness up and join Haste Draft Horses and Mules for some lively discussions about these God-given creatures.
Howdy, folks. Stephen Haste here with Harness Up Podcast with Haste Draft Horses and Mules. How's everybody doing? Thank you all for coming on and listening to another episode. We sure appreciate you. Guys, I'm trying to put out an episode like I told you every Saturday, and we're staying on track, so hang in there with us. I'm glad you all are enjoying it. And for you guys reaching out and giving me people to contact to be on the podcast, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, on today's episode, it's actually tonight when we're recording it, but it's going to be aired on Saturday morning. So I got Mr. Veit with me from Roundup, Montana. Reed, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing real good, Steve. How are you doing?
Doing good, buddy. I'm excited to talk to you and dig into with what you do with the folks.
Yeah.
Guys, Reed is a saddle maker, and he owns Veit Saddlery out in Roundup, Montana. Reed, go ahead and tell them about yourself a little bit and all about you and what you do a little bit.
Well, I'm a young man here in Roundup, Montana, and building custom saddles and tack for horses and mules. I got into this business when I turned 23. I went to my first saddle school the day after my 23rd birthday, and I've done almost exclusively leather ever since. So about 5 years going on doing her. So yes, sir, that's what I do.
So you're full-time in it now.
I am full-time in it now, yes.
That's awesome. How many saddles would you say you built, let's say last year in 2025, just for example?
Well, not very many. Last year was kind of a fluke year for me, but maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
But this year I've already turned out close to 5 already, and it's only March here. So now I'm kind of settled into my own shop and getting to work hard here.
A lot of people may not understand building a saddle's not just saying you're going to throw a saddle together and getting it done real quick. There's a lot that goes in to building a saddle.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing mainly custom builds, or do you have stuff there for people to buy? Or
well, right now I'm mainly custom builds. The trouble is the trees that I like to use, they take 9 months to get from the tree maker, so it's kind of hard for me to build one up to just have to buy. But I'm trying to work towards getting a few to have on hand.
Let's tell the folks, some of the folks listening to this might not know, they may think we're talking about a tree out in the mountains.
Oh, sure. A saddle tree.
So let's tell them exactly what we're talking about.
Sure. Well, I'll grab one here and I'll show you.
Sure, do that. That'd be great.
So a tree is a wooden form that your saddle is built on. So what saddle building is actually covering a tree with leather and sheepskin and all that stuff. So this is there's wood in here, and then it's covered in rawhide. This is not the usual tree that I use, but it's one that I have to cover. Yeah. So these are called the bars. This side here, this sits on the horse. And the shape and the angle of the bars is what determines the fit of your particular animal that you're riding, either a mule or a horse. This is called the cantle, which is where your butt sits up against. And this is called your fork with your horn on it. So yes, and there's different styles and different kinds, and I can show you some different stuff too here. But yes, that is what a saddle tree is. And much like a custom saddle shop, there's custom saddle tree makers out there. So you can get your horn as high or as low as you want with the biggest cap if you want, and however tall a cantle, you can totally customize it. So
That's pretty neat.
And obviously good work is always in high demand, so there's always a wait time associated with it.
You're building a lot of mule saddles though too, aren't you?
Well, yes, getting there. I've taken a lot of orders and waiting on trees, but right now I've got a real influx of horse trees that I'm covering for the working cowboy out there. But yes, I have built several mule saddles, and I'm aiming to get into that a lot more.
You're a mule man yourself, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am.
Let's tell the folks what you own, how many mules you got, and kind of how you ride.
I own 2 mules. They're full sisters. One is 4 years old. She's coming 5, and one is a weanling or a yearling. She'll be 2 here in July. The big one will turn 5 in July, and the little one will turn 2 in July. So I've got a set of full sisters, little Molly mules. Yes.
Have you seen mules getting more popular out in Montana, or would you say it's getting more popular now than it was, or how's the mule community doing out west?
Well, where I'm at specifically, I'm not seeing a bunch, but it seems like further in the western part of the state where there's a lot more big mountains, they're getting pretty popular and people are kind of swinging that way. And I guess maybe I was never paying attention before, but when I'm driving in the western part of the state, I'm starting to see a lot more mules out there than I used to. So, yeah.
I know we sell a lot of mules. We sell used to back in the day, you know. I sell a lot of draft horse teams now and mule teams. That's mainly what we sell.
Awesome.
But back when I first started, we was actually, some people may not know this, but we was never Haste Draft Horses and Mules. We was just Haste Mule Company. And back when I first started selling 07 range, all we sold was riding mules mainly. That's all we sold.
Oh, good deal.
And we ship mules out there all the time. The first trip I ever made to Montana, I went to the Potomac Valley up near Missoula. Do you know where that's at?
I know where Missoula is, but I can't really tell you about the Potomac Valley.
Shout out to Ray Woodside. Have you ever heard of Ray?
Yes. Ray is my hero, and I've never met him.
I've met him. I met him one time. I sold him a pair of big white mules and went to his house and stayed in his cabin, and that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Have you seen his?
Yep, go ahead. Sorry.
Have you seen his mules all black with the white socks?
Yes, I have, and that is a sharp team of mules. That's really cool. I'd really like to meet him, and maybe this year will be the year I finally get to meet him.
He's a great guy. Shout out to you, Ray, if you're listening. I should get him on a podcast. He would be a good one, too.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome.
I need to call him up and ask him. We used to go out west, though. I had an old stock trailer about 24 foot long, and I would load it down with riding mules, 14, 15 hand mules. And we would come out there, and I would not have a single mule sold when I left home. And I would just go out there in Montana, Wyoming, sometimes Idaho quite a bit, knock door to door and just start peddling mules.
That's pretty cool.
And I never come home with a mule.
Heck yeah,
never
that's a good way to do it.
If one person didn't want to buy it, I would say, well, do you know somebody that might want to buy one? Or do you know somewhere else I could go to ask somebody else who might want to buy one? And we sold mules like that. That was kind of back before the internet was everything everybody done, you know?
Right.
Nowadays, if you don't have a social media and the internet and business, you're not going to get very far, probably.
No, sir. No, pretty hard.
Bringing that up, let's go ahead and tell the folks early how they find you online.
So you can find me online on Facebook and Instagram at Veit Saddlery. That's REEDVEIT Saddlery. I've got a Facebook page, I've got an Instagram page, and I do have a website. And it's not one that you can go and purchase any gear directly on the website, but you can go there. If you just type in Veit Saddlery on Google, it's a Google site. It's not www.readveitsaddlery.com. But yeah, there is a small website that is showcasing some of my work. It's got all my contact information on there. I would be happy to talk to anyone about whatever they are interested in having made. Just one phone call away.
Reed, I get asked all the time, we got a lot of people buy draft horses from us and they want to ride them, or they buy mules from us and they want to ride them. And they said, do you have connections for saddles? These saddle builders are few and far between for a quality mule saddle, particularly.
Right.
I mean, they're just few and far between out there. And the mule tack. Show them that breast collar you were showing me. I want to show the folks that.
Yeah, you bet.
And guys, if you're just listening on the platform, you'll have to go to our YouTube channel, Haste Draft Horses and Mules on YouTube, to see this on the video. But check that out, guys. Ain't that beautiful?
Yeah, it's got a cowboy riding a mule, roping a jackalope.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
I like
I've got it. Yeah,
the quality
cool.
of that is nice, though. It looks really good.
Thank you. I just got her finished up this evening, right before we got on the. Got on.
What do you think is a lot of people, they always say, I buy a mule, but the main question is, do I have to have a mule saddle?
Well,
do you think that is a must for every mule, or what's your intake on a mule and fitting mules to saddles?
Well, for one, I mean, as a saddle maker, I'm supposed to just say, yeah, you got to get a mule saddle, but I do kind of believe it. They're not built the same as horses are at all. And like a riding mule is usually quite a bit narrower than a horse is, typically with less wither. There's not as much shape to their back. Some people will ride in a horse saddle on a mule their entire lives and never have a trouble. And the next person down the road has nothing but problems trying it. So my opinion is, yeah, you should try and get a good fitting piece of tack if you're going to care about your animal and you want to keep them and ride them for the duration, is my opinion on it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if the tack don't fit, nothing's going to be right when you're riding a horse or a mule. That's the truth.
No. And it's hard. And people say, I have a mule that's hard to fit. And I'm like, well, yeah, they're a mule. Congratulations, you're a mule owner. They're usually not very easy just to go and buy a saddle off the rack at any old tack store and ride them in it. It usually doesn't work quite as good as you would like.
Now, are you making mule breeching too?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, I don't have one in here with me. I wish I would have thought of that, but yes.
So when somebody buys a mule saddle from you, they can get the complete setup, the collar, the breeching, crooper, absolutely. I guess, too, if they want to ride with a crooper.
Yeah, I've never made a crooper, but I think I could. I think I could make one.
You know what an old guy told me one time?
What?
An old mule guy, actually in the Grand Canyon. I sold a bunch of mules down there. We shipped a bunch of mules down to the Grand Canyon in New Mexico. And I was coming out of the Grand Canyon. We went up to New Mexico to take him his mules. And we got all the mules out, and we had breeching on all our saddles. And he said, why in the world do you use them breechings? And I said, well, it keeps the saddle in fit. If you're going up and down straight hills, that's what they're for. He said, I would never ride a mule in a breeching.
Huh.
And I said, why? He said, if you're on this Grand Canyon and you have to bail, he said, that's the first thing your foot's going to get caught in coming out is that breeching. And he said, you're dumped.
Yeah. I suppose there's truth to that. And all I have to say is the world is a dangerous place.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, you can get hung up in any dang thing. I don't know. I've never thought about it that way.
I like the look of a britching on a mule. When we videoed a lot of riding mules, if that britching wasn't on there, it just didn't look right to me.
No, I'm not a personal fan of the crooper because it puts pressure on the spine.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going downhill and your saddle isn't fitting just like it should, all of your weight going forward on your mule's shoulder blade is also pulling on their tail, which is an extension of their spine.
I've heard some people say that too. And also, like the crooper, you don't get as good. If you're really going down a steep hill, you don't get as good of a hold. There's no way you can, because all you're holding onto is a tailbone.
Yes, sir. There's not near as much surface area on the animal itself holding anything back.
It's different country in all different places of the U.S. Like riding in Montana, I'm going to tell you, there's some of them hillsides I wouldn't ride a mule down.
Right.
Some people do. You better be prepared with the right gear on that before you go down.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Old Kim Harris can tell us some stories. You know Kim, don't you?
I do. Yes, sir.
We better shout out to Kim Harris on here. He'll be mad if I don't.
Well, shout out Kim. I haven't seen you in a few years, Pard, but it'd be good to meet up again.
How did you get to know him?
Well, do you want the long story?
I don't care.
Well, I met Kim when I was maybe 15 years old at a mountain man rendezvous. And Kim was there. He had some tanned pelts and some handmade stuff. And I had a bunch of handmade stuff that I used to be really into that. Kind of the mountain man and Native American crafts is kind of how I got started in this making stuff business, I guess is what I should say. I kind of hit it off with Kim, and we were visiting, and I wound up trading him some of my stuff for some of his pelts, and I remember I traded him for a coyote pelt, and then I never did anything with it for a couple years. Then I run into him again at the Montana Trappers Association get-together in Lewistown, and I thought, oh, interesting, and we visited and kind of figured out how we knew each other. And I knew I still had that coyote, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do the next year? I thought, Kim's probably going to be there. I'm going to make him a hat out of that specific coyote that I traded from him. So I made this hat up, had no idea if Kim would even be there, and showed up, and sure as heck he was there, and I said, I got something in my truck for you, and he kind of looked at me sideways like, what do you have? And I brought it in and give it to him, and he was really surprised, and he wound up trading me 6 of his coyote traps for that hat, which is not why I did it. I did it just to give it to him as a present, but he did wind up swapping me 6 of his special traps for it, and I do appreciate that.
His traps are evidently a special thing. I don't know a lot about them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
He's still making them.
Yep. What do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention, or is that what it is? Something like that.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
The first time he came here, I sold him a team of blue roan geldings, Blizz and Frost. I sold them to him in, I think, May of 2023. And we just hit it off. We connected, and we kept talking on the phone, and we became pretty good friends. And we had a barbecue here, a big customer appreciation gathering, and he came. And his first trip here, when he got to Mount Vernon, Illinois, he rear-ended a semi.
Oh, man.
Tore up his truck and everything, and he didn't hurt him, thank God, but we had to send somebody to go get him, and he ended up staying about a week with us. And it was just, when he came here and stayed a week, it was over from there.
Oh, yeah.
And then now he's come back every year. He can't even come and help me at my clinic, in my past clinic. I made him my senior advisor.
Oh, right on.
He liked that title, I think. Made
Yeah,
him
that's
sound
got quite the
professional.
ring to it. Senior advisor.
And he don't drive no more. He flies, and I pick him up at the airport.
Yep.
So, but he's a super good guy. There's so many good people helped us so much along the way. I'm sure you've had people too help you.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you noticed the mule community is so tight?
Absolutely.
It's different than the horse community.
Boy. Yes, sir. I agree with that 100%.
I know whenever I get people on the phone to buy mules, they're just a different type people. The
Yes,
people that
they
buy
are.
mules are a little bit of mule themselves.
Yes, sir. I agree. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And they're cool. I mean, it's great. I love selling mules. I have to sell a lot of horses now, unfortunately, because there's not enough mules out there to make a living.
Right.
I wish there was, but there ain't. It's hard, but I'd love to go. I love mules. When I get a team of mules into video and sell, I just get fired up.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
That's
quite
why
the critter.
they are, for sure. And I'm glad you're going to start building mule saddles, because not many people are.
Yeah. Well, I have built mule saddles, and I built the saddle that I ride, and I'm building myself another saddle for myself. And when you say you're going to start, I mean, I have done it, and I am going to do it more, just waiting on my trees to come in. I've got quite a few orders for them. So, yes, sir. Yeah.
Who knows? Here in the next year or two, everybody in the mule world, they may not like it unless they got a Reed Veit mule saddle.
Well, that wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Hey, I'm excited about them. I've seen them on your website, and I love the look of them.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I built a saddle for both Ty and Sky Evans out of Spring City, Utah. There, Ty is the top mule clinician in the West here for sure. So it's quite an honor to be able to build gear for that caliber of mule man, and I just really enjoy it altogether. Getting my gear in the hands of a good hand and getting to see it get put to use, that's what makes me real happy.
Well, and speaking of Ty Evans, he's supposed to do a podcast with me. We've been trying for a year, and it's hard because we're both so busy, but we're going to make it happen. But
Awesome.
getting your saddle in his hands is going to sell a lot of your saddles.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
It will.
Yep, I've got another one for him coming up the list here soon, so get that whipped out and get it to him, and hopefully it'll make its rounds around the country.
Oh yeah, it will. That's going to be great. That's going to be great.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite saddle you've ever built? Like a memory of a certain saddle. What's your favorite one you'll always remember?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm working on number 37 right now, so there's not a ton to draw from. One that I'll always remember, I don't know, because I'm not old enough to start forgetting them yet.
Well, let's do this saddle. What was the first saddle you made?
The first saddle I ever made was at a saddle school in Belgrade, Montana, put on by a man named Dale Moore, who was a packer in the back country in Oregon and in the Bob Marshall here in Montana for over 30 years. And when he stopped packing, he started putting on saddle building schools. So I went there and built my first two saddles there in that shop and had a good time. So that was the first saddle that I ever built, and I wound up selling it to actually a super good hand back home in Malta, and he still rides it and really likes it and just is good. It all worked out.
So you used to live in Malta, but now you are in Roundup, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got engaged to a little gal down here in Roundup, and she has a house, and my shop is right here in the backyard. So I pretty much just get up in the morning, eat breakfast, and walk across the backyard to go to work for the day.
You've got
Pretty
a wedding
handy.
coming up. You've got a wedding coming up soon too, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You know, Roundup, Montana will always hold a special place in my heart.
Is that right?
I was in Roundup, Montana, July 4th, 2020. And I was at the 4th of July celebration there in Roundup.
Yeah.
And I was at the bar there hanging out and talking to people, having a great time. I guess I didn't meet my wife in Roundup, Montana, but I got to know about my wife in Roundup, Montana. One of her friends was there, and we started talking, and they said, I know a girl that would be a good girl to help you, and you would like her really well. And I said, well, give her my number. So I give them my number, and that's how I got to know my wife, was that night at that in Roundup, Montana.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. You know, that's kind of how I met my fiance too.
Really?
Is her parents put on the Ty Evans Clinic here in Roundup in August. This will be the 3rd year that they've put it on. And I went there. No, this will be the 4th year that they put it on. Sorry. I went there the first year and met her parents, and they said, you need to meet our daughter. And I was on the fence. I don't know. Oh man, you know, if your mom's trying to pawn you off, you know, how good can you really be? But you know what? I said, you know what? You give her my number. And a few weeks later, we started talking, and the rest is history, man. So Mules brought her into my life for sure.
Well, me and my wife, we started texting back and forth and talking, and I was going to have her come help me work for me. And she said she was going to come. So I sent her some money to Billings, and she drove here. I'd never met her before. And she drove all the way to Kentucky, 26 hours, pulled in, met her. And the next morning we was leaving to go to California. And I asked her if she was going to go with us. She said, sure, I'll go. I said, well, you better get some sleep before we go. She got some sleep, and then we left the next day, me and her and the dog and a whole trailer load of mules, and we went to California.
Right on.
That was pretty wild, but that's all history now too. 2 babies later, and yeah.
Yeah, it's quite the deal how stuff works out sometimes, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I think what got me attached to her, though, was when she pulled that trailer with my truck through L.A. up I-5, I looked over and I said, this woman, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not many women. She can pull a trailer and back one like nobody's business.
Awesome.
So it worked out good. It just all works out.
Yes, sir.
So this mule business and horse business has brought me with so many people. It's unreal.
Yeah, me too. I've met some of my very best friends through the mule community, and I have nothing but love for them and very thankful for them in my life every day. And I wouldn't have them. I don't think I'd have met them any other way other than the mules.
You need to go up on Wrangler Trail and meet my old buddy Levi Hirschberger.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, he's an Amish guy, lives up there. When I was selling out there, I would come out to Roundup and set up shop with mules and horses and leave them at his house, and he had a good place, and I sold him many a mule and horse right out of his place right there in Roundup.
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Went to the rodeo there in 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful there. I'll never forget, though. I stayed a couple extra days there in 2020, just resting up before I left, and the fires was so bad. The fire started out on the road. Is it 87 or what is that road that goes through Roundup?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
80
Highway
something.
87.
87. Yeah, I thought it was. You know, a safety chain was dragging on a trailer, hitting the pavement, and started a big fire.
Yep.
And I'll never forget that firefighter running in and telling us, and all of them leaving out of there in the little restaurant we was in. It was a big one. They went and took at it now.
Yep. I bet.
Roundup's a nice little town. If y'all don't know where it's at, it's north of Billings, just what, 60 miles, 60 or 70 miles?
Yep. 55 miles north of Billings, just about an hour away.
Yep. Good little community. All
It
right,
is.
Reed, is there anything you want to say to the folks in closing?
Well, I'm thankful for all of my business, past and present. A stranger is just someone that is a friend that you just haven't met yet. And that's kind of the approach I take to it. And if anyone out there is interested in talking about mule tack, mule saddles, horse tack, all that stuff, I'm one phone call away and I would love to talk with you.
You want to give them your number on here?
Sure. My phone number is 406-654-7669. That's how you can call and get a hold of me, and we can get you something custom made.
And I'm going to put all your contacts in the description on this podcast. So if anybody listening, if you need to go back and get it or whatever, it'll be in the description. I'm going to put his Facebook link, his Instagram, his website. So if you need to contact him about getting your new custom saddle made, Reed's the man to help you, and he'll sure get you taken care of.
Thank you so much, Steve.
No, you're welcome, man. I thank you for coming on here. I like getting saddle builders on here and different people and helping them out and sharing their business. Just help each other. That's how it goes around, you know.
Well, thanks a bunch, Steve. I really appreciate you having me.
Who knows? We may get a custom saddle for us, maybe you one of these days. You can't never tell.
That'd be great.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thank you all for listening to the podcast, Harness Up. We got a lot of good episodes coming up, guys. Stay tuned. Get on, check us out. Get on our YouTube channel if you're not on already, under Haste Draft Horses and Mules. Click that subscribe button. We'd sure appreciate it. Leave a like and a comment. Also, guys, on our podcast here on the platform, we'd like to get some ratings and get you all to give us some feedback on there. So hop on and give us some feedback if you're listening. We'd love to hear what you think. And as always, if you have guests that you think we should have on Harness Up Podcast, reach out to me. My number is 606-303-5669. Check us out on the World Wide Web at www.drafthorsesandsmulesforsale.com. Until the next one, thank you all, and we'll see you real soon.
As another captivating episode of Harness Up with Haste Draft Horses and Mules draws to a close, we extend our sincere gratitude to our listeners for joining us on this enlightening journey. We hope today's discussions have deepened your appreciation and understanding of these magnificent creatures. Remember, the adventure continues beyond this podcast. Stay connected with us on social media and share your stories. For more information and to explore further, visit drafthorsesandsmulesforsale.com. Thank you for being part of our community. Until next time, keep harnessing your curiosity and passion for these God-given creatures. Farewell for now.